Hey everybody, this is Jose Blasco here. We're about to start in 30 seconds or so. Let's use this time for a sound check. Please go ahead and type a quick hello in the chat box. Some of you already did actually. So I know you hear my voice and we are ready to start. Thank you so much. Very nice. Thank you so much. Nice to see you, Bojan, Lisa, Irwin, everybody. Very, very nice. How are you, Pansy? Very nice to see you here as well. Very good, very good. Perfect. So we just reached the top of the hour, so it's time to maximize our introduction slide so we can have an official start of the session and begin. How are you, Thui Conde? Nice to see you as well. Okay. Ricky, how are you, my friend? Very nice. Okay, so welcome everybody to the session. Today is November 4th, 2018. My name is Jose Blasco. I will be your guide. And today I'm guiding you in the world of intraday trading. So we are conducting our get-together short-term session where we're going to be using Forex and futures, looking for short-term opportunities as the name of the session suggests. Basically we'll be attempting to collect market movements of short duration in and out quickly, manage the risk, maximize the profits, and go for the next trade. That's the plan, okay? Before we start, as always, we have a disclaimer. I always try to do it as quick as possible, so let's see how fast I can do it today. The following videos, clips, demonstrations are for educational and instructional purposes only. Tradictive provides these videos purely for the purpose of demonstrating a method of using the product. Users understand that all the content used in the video is purely for demonstration purposes only and is not a guide and does not provide any indication or prediction of actual results. As a user, you understand and agree that hypothetical results obtained through demonstration do not indicate in any way the results you may receive when using our products. And that's it. That would be the introduction of the session. With everything covered, and here is our trade station waiting for us. Whoop, I'm just clicking the wrong place. Here we go. Trade station is waiting for us with some golden lights, which means that some opportunities may be ready to be planned or be executed. Okay, so looking at the chat box very quick. Geneva, nice to see you. Babu, very nice to see you. France, nice to see you as well. Very nice, everybody. Okay, so hey, let's begin. And as I always say, let's be ready for some teamwork, okay? So let's work on this together, all together. If you have any question, if I go too fast, let me know. If you see something I didn't see, please type it, etc., etc. Let's work as a team in putting those trades together. And that way we're gonna be in a much better position, okay? So let's begin with gold, okay? So we have gold here on the upper left. We have a golden light, near sensible short, 3 candles into climates of 4, certainly valid opportunity. Also, we have another opportunity with lean hogs with a near sensible short. Both opportunities are to short in this case. We have 1 candle into the climate. This climate is supposed to be out of 4 to 5 candles. Okay, so both trades are valid trades from that point of view. So it's time to load the charts and confirm if in the end those trades are valid candidates based on the flowchart process that we normally use. So let me bring it very quick here as a reminder. Okay, as a reminder, we have a flowchart, which is the process that we follow when planning those trades. Okay, by the way, for the ones of you that didn't see the last sharpening session that we did on the flowchart, make sure you watch it because we have done a few changes on it out of listening to feedback, etc. And we have done a lot of, not a lot, I mean a few changes, few minor changes, but they're subtle and they do have some importance. Okay, so take a look at that session if you missed it. So we have gold, the gold contract is here. Remember, every time we deal with those futures markets that got expiration dates that happen quite often, such as metals, energies, softs, etc., we always, as a rule of thumb, as a good way on how not to get in trouble, you know, a standard process for us is to always come to this website, barcharts.com, click on the gold contract, let the website to load, and confirm that the symbol that shows here, in this case the Z, which is the expiration date, isn't it? We make sure that we use the same one. Also confirm on the chart, okay, that the greatest values for open interest and volume corresponds with the Z, okay?
So confirm that visually very quickly, so that way you know you are using the right chart, on your screen, okay, on your trade station. That's important to do. It's less critical with markets such as the S&P, the Nasdaq, because expiration dates are every 3 months. But with metals, with energies, with agricultural products, etc., expiration dates happen very, very often, sometimes as close as one every month. Okay, so we need to be aware of that and always double check. Okay. So anyway, so what do we do? So talking about the flow chart, the first thing that we do is to look at the climate. The climate, as the red screen suggested, is confirm. We have a ruby color dot. It's thick, so it's confirm. 3 candles out of 3.21. So we're still okay to be in a trade to take advantage of a potential fall below the current price. But for that to happen, we need to find UFOs lining up with the average, which is 13.6, and 13.6 in here, we got nothing. 13.6 in here, we have nothing. 13.6 in here, we have nothing with gold at the moment. Therefore, it is no time to execute any trade with gold as of now. A few minutes from now, we may have a beautiful UFO form somewhere around this price. Okay, and if that was the case and we had a beautiful UFO box around 13.6, okay, so then, we would be delighted to go ahead and execute the trade. But we don't have that as we speak, meaning that we don't have a valid setup, and therefore we will not force a trade. We will just keep observing it until it happens, okay? No forcing trades, no deviating from the plan. Therefore, if gold is not a valid candidate, okay, I can go ahead and look at link hogs. But you know what? We just got a flash alert here as well on the S&P futures, where we have an alert near sensible long, 3 candles into the climate, where those climates in that time frame are likely going to last for 11 candles. So very, very nice time to enter or plan or examine a trade to be executed with the S&P 500 index. Okay, so I'm gonna load my ES workspace, where I have the proper charts with the proper time frames, with the proper everything. I'm just loading it, and we'll be ready to go in a second if the setup is valid for us. So what do we have? Okay, while the charts on the top are loading, what do we have? 3 blue, sapphire color blue dots. Okay, 3 out of 7. Okay, earlier it was 3 out of 11. Again, that depends on the amount of historical data loaded. In any case, it doesn't matter if it's 3 out of 11 or 3 out of 7. Definitely, it seems that we are at the right time to enter this trade. Now, the average is 30.79. 79 is around here, we got nothing. 79 is around here, we got nothing. But in here, we do have 79. Okay, so that particular UFO is lining up properly with the average right here, and therefore we do have a valid trade setup. So before we put the trade in place, I do need to look at targets. Okay, so I'm loading AutoUFOs, okay, in the 15-minute time frame. I mean, I know what some of you are thinking. We all know the S&P is making all-time high since a few days ago, isn't it? So there is no red UFO above price, okay? So because there is no red UFO above price, the way we're gonna deal with this is just to trail stop, okay? Just to trail stop and see how far we go. If today was to be an update, it would be lovely to be able to enter using that UFO before the market starts, okay? And then if right at the beginning we're gonna have a nice push and it's gonna keep going all the way until lunchtime or so in the US, so we're gonna have a nice profit here. So let's plan for it. Top part of this UFO is 3079.5. So 3079.5 is gonna be my entry. Mechanically, I'm using 2 contracts. Make sure you calculate your size. Okay, so I'm going with 2 contracts. I'm just gonna click buy. My stop is gonna be located at 77.5, which is right here. Okay, so we are talking about 2 points. which is gonna make my safety target to be 81.5, which is 2 points. And then my last target, okay, notice what I'm gonna do here. I'm just gonna put my mouse on it, and you see the word cancel that shows up. I'm just gonna click and cancel my final target, okay, because we don't have a final target. We will just keep a trailing stop, trailing stop, trailing stop. Okay, so the order is in. You are certainly free to mimic the trade setup I have on my screen, and even the execution as well. Of course, you need to decide about your size. You need to decide if you want to use real capital or paper money. All of those decisions are obviously yours. But here is the trade, and the trade does meet our conditions based on the flowchart. On the other hand as well, we do have reactive timeframes here on the bottom right, ready to be utilized if that's your style. So an alternative way on how to execute the trade, instead of executing the moment price reaches 3079.5, will be to let that market to come in, and as the market is in, if you were to see green UFOs to form in the reactive time frame, okay, that would tell you that yes, the unfilled orders that we expect do exist, okay, and we would then go ahead and take the trade. That would be manual execution instead of limit order, as I'm using now, but you would get a little more evidence, which is likely going to impact your probability. Even though everything we do in life got pros and cons, and the downside of using the reactive timeframes is that you may miss the trade. So in the end, it has a lot to do with your trading style, and the way you look at trading, and the way you find your level of comfort that puts you in a position where human emotions are not a problem for you. Okay, so for the most conservative traders in the room, probably you are happier using reactive timeframes. For the less conservative traders in the room, probably you just go for the limit orders like I did myself, and you are happy about it. Climate for the ES is not sensible any longer. Why not? We got 3 candles out of 8. I mean, maybe you are just using a little humor here, and I took it in a serious way. But I mean, based on the rules, we got 3 candles into the climate. The climate is likely to be 8, so 3 out of 8, it's the right time. Okay, but maybe you were using. I mean, you guys know that English is not my first language, so maybe you were just playing a little too much with the words for me, and I didn't get you at first. Okay, but it's nice to have a good sense of humor for sure. Anyway, so back to the red screen. What else is happening? So gold is still flashing. So let me have a quick look at gold in case a UFO form. No UFO yet. Okay, remember with gold we are looking for the red UFOs because the climate is ruby. Okay, ruby color means that we look for red UFOs. So no red UFOs yet. And with the S&P is the opposite. With the S&P we got the sapphire blue color. So we are looking for the green UFO. We can call them emerald as well. It's a beautiful name. So anyway, so just waiting here for the trade to get filled. And again, one more time, if you are using reactive timeframes, so wait for price to come in and then show you the green, and then you're ready to go based on the rules. The next market that was flashing here, it's lean hogs. Okay, so with lean hogs, okay, I'm just gonna load my lean hogs workspace, and while I do that, what am I gonna do? Who guesses what am I gonna do? Well, in case you are not guessing it, let me show you what I'm doing. I'm going back to bar charts again to confirm the right expiration date for meats. In this case, lean hogs. Okay, so lean hogs, and just confirm that all is good. Okay, you like emerald, Bojan? Very nice. So we are dealing with the Z contract. Okay, that's the one. Looking at volume and open interest, this is the row with the greatest value. This is the Z. Okay, so we are good to go. Z in British English, Z using American English, whatever that is. Make sure that when you load your chart, you don't have it like I do with LH only. Make sure you load it with LHZ19. Okay, that way the symbol that you have on the charts is actually also valid to be placed on the matrix, and therefore you could actually place your orders. Okay, the chart will be or should be the same. okay? But because you use the right symbol, you can then execute, in the matrix, which makes it very convenient, okay? So we still got a little bit of pending data here, so we're gonna wait for a second. Before I forget, I'm gonna right click and save that workspace. Quick look at the S&P, by the way. The S&P is still waiting. So in 1 minute, we're gonna have an update on the climate. Okay, so actually it's less than 1 minute. Okay, it's let's call it 10 seconds from now. Okay, 10 seconds from now, we're gonna have an update on the climate. So I'm just gonna wait to see the update. Of course, it's looking like it's still gonna be blue. If it was not blue, I would need to go ahead and cancel the orders, okay? But I believe we should be fine for that. Here we go, we got 4 dots now. They are all blue color, it's all good. The average is 79.66. Our entry is 79.5. Certainly, we are meeting the entry price, because if the S&P goes down by a little bit, okay, from 80 to 79.5, so that average will not be 76, it will be around 79.5. Okay, so we are fine. By the way, we do have a flashing alert for the NASDAQ NQ, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at that one. I'm less in a rush to look at the Linhogs because it's at 4-hour climate, so I can always look at it any other time. Where NASDAQ is 15 minutes. Okay, notice how it's not golden anymore, but it was a minute ago because it was 0.5. Okay, that's the parameter for my ATR alert. Okay, as you saw a minute ago, right? When I place my chart, my cursor there, isn't it? So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and open the NASDAQ as well. Okay, open the NASDAQ as well and see what type of opportunity the NASDAQ is offering to us. Okay, so with the NASDAQ, okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, 5 candles into the climate. So the climate, okay, in this case is out of 10 candles. So very similar setup compared to the S&P. Okay, very similar setup. Another flashing light for gold. We'll come back there in a minute. Okay, now the difference though is that the average is 82.15, and 82.15 it's up here. Okay, and basically we got nothing. 82.15 is here and we have nothing. And 82.15 is somewhere here and we have nothing. So with the NASDAQ, we don't have valid UFOs to execute this trade, while with the S&P, we do. Okay, we do have that UFO that is lining up adequately with the moving average, okay? But we don't have that with the NASDAQ, okay? Therefore, we are not gonna take the trade with the NASDAQ. We'll just observe it, just like we observe the trade with gold. We will observe the trade with the NASDAQ, okay? So, oh, by the way, gold, here we go. So 1513.2, and oh, look at that. We got a UFO now that does match the price, okay? So we do have a UFO now that is valid. We got 4 candles into the climate, okay? 4 candles into the climate in a climate of 4. Remember, we always round up, so 3.21 becomes 4. So 4 out of 4 means that it's okay. The next 15 minutes are still okay for us to short using that UFO. So let's plan for a target, okay? Let's plan for a target. So the target would be, in this case, located at, so we are dealing with gold. The target will be located at 1502.3. That would be the target. Okay, that would be the target for gold. Okay, so disable AutoUFO. Okay, and go back to the trade. So entry. Okay, entry is gonna be 1513.1. That's gonna be the entry. Stop will be 0.8. Okay, 0.8. So we are talking about 7 ticks. 7 ticks would bring me to 4, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, and then we have our final target located at 1502.3, which is very far down, as you saw earlier on the chart. And I'm sure you know what I'm thinking. When we see that intraday, it's very pleasant to see, but also we know that it's more likely than not that we'll get filled on the way out of this trade somewhere in the middle as we apply trade management rules such as trailing stop and things like that. Okay, so I'm just gonna zoom in here a little bit so we get to see price action from closer. Okay, we are just a few ticks away from entry. Current price is 6, entry is 1. Okay, so really we are like 5 ticks away from entry, which could be the one. I'm just looking at your message now, Dirk. Thanks for that. I missed you earlier, but it's good to see that we are working in sync with those trade setups. Okay, so very, very, very nice. Okay, so what else do we have? We have the gold trade ready to be executed. Okay, I'll give you just a few more seconds for you to make a note in case you haven't. Entry is 13.1, stop is 13.8, safety target is 12.4, final target is 02.3. Those are the parameters of this trade, and the trade is ready and is set up. Same story, okay? For the ones of you more conservative, you can certainly go ahead and wait for reactive red colored UFO to show up before you take this trade. Okay, so you would wait for gold to come into this UFO, and the moment gold is in that UFO, then you stop looking here, and now your attention is down here. Okay, your stop will be in the same location, 13.8, okay, but your attention will be here, and the moment you have a red UFO show up, now you take the trade manually with a sell market order clicking on that button. Okay, and then you will need to rush a little bit to place a safety target, final target, adjust the location of the stop, etc. But certainly it's doable with a little bit of practice, okay? So what else do we have on the NASDAQ? Nothing new, I believe. Yeah, nothing new. A new UFO form, but it's not lining up with the average, okay? So basically we ignore it. What about the S&P? Okay, with the S&P, price is now reacting to the red UFO. Hopefully that will push the price down, so we get filled on the green UFO before we have a new candle on the climate. So we still got until 9:30 a.m. New York time. We still got 8 minutes and a half. Let's call it 8 minutes and a half for the S&P to drop, hit our entry, and hopefully move our way. Okay. Anyway, so getting ready for everything, just loading our arsenal of guns to be ready to take advantage of what the market provides us in a daily basis. So gold waiting to get filled, S&P waiting to get filled. What about lean hogs? Okay, so we have the lean hogs chart. Okay, had a beautiful trade the other day. Okay, on the lean hogs, you can see here the traces of this trade. A very, very nice trade that we executed. I know some of you were in the trade. So let's see if we can have another setup today. So climate is defined, ruby color, one candle into the climate is supposed to be 6 to 7. So good time to enter the trade. Average price 65.05. So what do we have around 65.05? So around 65.05, we have this one, I would say, isn't it? So yeah, 64.97 to 65.32 certainly envelopes the price of 65.05. Okay, so that UFO is valid. Now let me look at those prices. Okay, those prices. So 12 lines up with what's in this UFO, and therefore the stopping point instead of 32 we need to be 45, and 45 lines up with that UFO, and therefore the stopping price would need to be 66.12. Okay, and 66.12 is up here, so it will be, oh my god, there is such a huge collection of UFOs overlapping each other. So you know what I'm about to say. Goodbye lean hogs. You do qualify as a trade setup, but because of so many UFOs lining up on top of each other, the problem is that in the end, the distance from entry to stop would be humongous. And that's not the biggest problem. The biggest problem is that that makes the distance from entry to safety target to also be humongous. And therefore, your safety target is now acting as a normal target instead of providing safety measures. So, you know, when that's the case, we need to basically abandon that trade idea and go for something else. Okay, so gold and S&P is still valid. What else is provided to us? Nothing else. I mean, natural gas, you can see is flashing, but I ignore it all the time because it's hopeful. 22 candles going up in a market that should move up by 6. I guess we all agree that market is quite stretched and very, very much irrational, which doesn't mean it cannot keep stretching, but certainly from a probability standpoint, it's not the right time to get in, okay? Okay, nothing new with the NASDAQ, nothing new with gold, nothing new with the S&P, just waiting to get filled. Okay, good, perfect. Okay, so look, we still got 6 minutes, so this could be a good time to go ahead and start looking at the currency opportunities. It caught my attention earlier on how many yellows we got here. Normally it's not like that, isn't it? Look at that, but also notice how many grays we have here. Okay, so you know, there are many loss opportunities here. That's what it looks like. Okay, but it's fun to see so much golden color flashing in the red screen. Again, normally it's not like that. Okay, so let's begin looking at Forex, and please give me a confirmation as well on the chat box, a quick one, just so I know that you guys are doing well with everything we've done so far. I mean, I know some of you have been part of the sessions for a while, so I know for a fact that, you know, this is just very basic for you, and you are with me 100%. But also some of you are new and or newer, and therefore I would like to make sure everybody is following, and therefore please go ahead and give me some feedback on how is everything going. So looking at Forex, okay, nothing with the majors in the 60-minute time frame, because here we got hopeful, and obviously we are not hopeful. On the 240-minute climate setups, okay, we do have one climate which is confirmed, which is not gray color, okay, and does show sensible near 1 out of 4, and that is the euro. Okay, so the first trade that we're gonna check today is looking at the euro in a 4-hour setup. Okay, we look at the euro 4-hour setup. Okay, and for that I need to bring TradingView into the room. 4-hour setup. Let's load my list of currencies. We'll go for the majors, and here is the euro. So euro, what do we have? We have a down climate, as we knew. Value for the average is 111.58, okay, 111.58, and 111.58, it's unfortunately around this price level where we don't have anything here, okay, but we do here, okay, so in the range time frame we do, but I'm not happy, okay, and here's why. Okay, when the euro goes back up from 111.51, which is the current price, to 111.58, which is the average price, as the euro goes up, that average of 58 may become 59 or even 60, and that is already outside that range set by the red UFO, and therefore we almost have a confluence, but we don't. Okay, and therefore we are not gonna force a trade, since we got other currency pairs to trade, or even if we didn't, okay, we don't force a trade that does not meet the rules. Okay, so it was very close to be what we needed, okay, but we're gonna pass. Okay, so back to the red screen. Futures is still doing the same thing. Yep, we still have like 2 minutes and a half to go before the market opens. We'd love to get filled on any of those trades, gold or the S&P, before the market opens. So US dollar CAD is now giving us an opportunity as well. Okay, 4-hour times setup, 2 candles out of 4. So that's a valid one. So let's go ahead and look at the US dollar CAD. So the Canadian dollar does have a defined climate, okay, 2 candles. Unfortunately, yeah, so 131.50 is the average, okay, and we got nothing at 50 here, and 50 here either, we got nothing. Okay, so no trade, no proper setup in that particular case. Okay, and this is the life of the trader, and we talked about that before. Our job is to say no more often than yes. Okay, so next one here, we have US dollar Swiss franc. So we'll look at that one, and then we'll go back to the futures, because the market is about to open and we want to see what's going on with those trades, crude oil, gold and S&P. So we got 2 candles here with a defined climate. That's fine. Average it's 98.72, and 98.72 here we got nothing, and 98.72 here we got nothing. Okay, so hey, for now, the three setups we checked with Forex are not fully meeting the rules, and therefore is not a valid one. Okay, so we will ignore that, and after the market opens and looking at futures one more time, then we'll come back and very likely we'll be working on setups using the minors instead of using the majors, because we have many golden lights, and that may be a recipe for good trades to be planned. Okay, so anyway, we got a few seconds, like just literally a few seconds before the market opens. So let's take a look at the S&P. Let's take a look at gold as well. Okay, so the Nasdaq is giving us another alert. Okay, so let me see if right at the open the Nasdaq, the S&P was to drop into our entry. Let's double check our entry is still valid. So 380 is the current value for the average. I think it should be okay to still use that UFO as an entry at 79.5, because the current value of the average is basically the same as before, it's still 380. So we're gonna have to check that, okay? And if price was to come into the UFO and it was not exactly the same, then it breaks our heart when that's the case, okay? But we do it with joy. We would need to click on the cancel all button if we were to see that the average is not lining up properly with the green UFO, okay? So let's watch this closely, because with the initial volatility at the market open, we may have that situation happen, okay? On the other hand, with the gold, we now got 5 candles in the climate out of 3. Remember the 3 will make it 4, so 50% of 4 is 2, 4 and 2 is 6. So now we just got into candle number 5. So candle number 5 and 6 still allow us to take the trade, but remember, you will need to take the trade with half of the position size, given the fact that the climate started stretching a little too much, and sometimes they stretch more. That's why we're gonna give the market the opportunity to do that for us, but we'll do it with half of the size, because probability-wise, we are not in such a good position compared to being at the beginning of the climate change. Okay, so now 12.7, okay, 12.7, I'm a little concerned here. 12.7 is right here. Our entry is 13.1. So notice as gold is going up, now we're reaching 12.8, 12.9. So, you know, I think we should be okay with 13.1, but very similar to what I said with the S&P, we need to be watching, okay, and here we go, it's coming down now, so 79.5. You know what, I think we're gonna be fine, okay? So we're gonna be fine if it drops a couple more ticks or 3, and we meet our entry. Actually, we need 1 more point, and we should get that average to point at 79.5. And I think the same is true for gold, where we are approaching 13.1, and this is already pointing at 13.0, so we should be fine on both of the trades. We just got an alert with the Euro futures, so we need to go ahead and take a look at the Euro futures quickly, okay? And I'm gonna call these trades valid, okay? And we're gonna run those trades. Oh, but wait a minute, the Euro future is flashing, but it's a trade with 8 candles going down out of 3. And therefore it's a hopeful trade, and obviously we don't like that, okay? So we will pass on this trade. Therefore, the one I want to check again is the Nasdaq. The value of the average is 82.17, and we may have something here around 17. Let me see, 16.5. Here we go, 16.5 all the way to 13.5. Yes, this could be a valid opportunity as well, I believe, with the Nasdaq, okay? So quick look at the S&P and gold, and I'm coming back to plan a trade on the Nasdaq, okay? Notice that how we are like 1 point away from entry on the S&P. We are a little less than 1 point away from entry with gold, okay? So those trades may very well trigger very, very soon. So again, working on the Nasdaq. So, target, okay? So looking at AutoUFOs in the 15-minute time frame, okay? So what do we have? Okay, well, no UFO. We know the S&P is making all-time high. If I look at the monthly time frame of the Nasdaq, okay, nice, taking a little bit of time to load. Okay, I wanted to be very, very visual in it. Oh, S&P filled, good. Let me take a look at the S&P while this loads. We are in the trade, very nice. Okay, so moving up towards the safety target. Okay, we are now in time stop mode as well. So we'll be looking and counting the candles on the left. Okay, so 3 ticks away from reaching that safety target. It would be very nice to reach that safety target quickly. Normally that's the recipe of the best trades, is when you reach the safety target very quickly. With gold, with gold, nothing new. So we are still in, having that valid setup for the next 15 minutes. Okay. Yes. So we just hit safety target on the S&P. So we are out of risk. Okay. And now, so no need to look at my time stop anymore. Okay. And now notice how a new UFO formed here with 79.5 as the bottom. So that makes my stop to be located at 79.25. Okay, so I'm moving my stop back below the new UFO that just formed, which just disappeared from the screen because price just filled the orders that were there. But still, if instead of explaining what I do by talking, I was doing it without talking, I would have been faster to move my stop to 3079.25. So this is where the stop should be. Okay, so if I get stopped out now, I'm gonna get stopped out for $12 of loss plus $100+ of profits I made. So this trade is certainly profitable no matter what. Okay, in the meantime, whatever on-field orders are still left at this price, if any, they will push the price back up together with the climate. And as new UFOs keep forming, we'll keep trailing stop, because remember, with the S&P, we have no final target. Okay, we have no final target. So we are just gonna continue, trailing stop. Okay. Another quick look at gold. Gold still looking for his entry. That hasn't happened yet. Just looking to see if any UFO is gonna form here. That gives me the opportunity to lock in some more profits, if any. You can see that those on-field orders, there is a little bit of residual on-field orders still left. Probably little, that's why the UFO is gone from the screen. But you can see how there is a pretty important fight for price to go down, and price is staying there. Okay, so if it goes up, it's going to be very good for us. If it goes down, you certainly want to be out at 3079.25, because that probably imply that the market may actually even change climate. Okay, so we did collect some profit, protect the risk, and now we are exposed with no risk to whatever happens, either up or down, with no risk. Okay, that's the beauty of using those safety targets. Okay, so now looking at the Nasdaq. Okay, well, I wanted to be visual earlier. I guess now you can see how visual I am, right? So same as the S&P, making all-time high. Therefore, no target for the Nasdaq. Okay, no target for the Nasdaq. So let's see if a trade would be valid to be executed on the Nasdaq. Okay. So S&P still in the trade. What a fight. What a fight. I mean, the goal will be to see some green show up here. If we got green show up in the reactive time, here we go. We just got some green show up in the reactive time frame. This increases a lot the probability of the market go higher. It's not a guarantee, of course, but that is an important increase of probability for this market to move higher. So out of this green UFO that just formed, that just went away, we may see other UFOs to form in here or in here or in here. And the moment that happens, we will be trailing stop. Okay? Cool. Very nice. Dirk, Bojan, Lisa, fantastic. That's the teamwork I talk about. Okay? And for the ones of you newer to the sessions, guys, just, here's a suggestion out of you gaining some practice and experience. Just use a paper money account. Okay? If these processes or tools or techniques are new to you and you feel maybe too strong as a word, but let's say you feel a little intimidated or it was a little too fast or whatever, it's okay. Use paper money. But by practicing it, that's how you will get to feel more comfortable soon in time, okay? So anyway, crude oil is flashing an alert as well. So we'll go ahead and look at what crude oil provides for us. So we have a near sensible long 3 candle out of 9. Well, definitely good idea to go and check crude oil. So I will load crude oil. Jose, I saw in your chart recently where 2 or 3 UFO were close to each other. How do you define the sell or buy area using the nearest or the collective or those 3 areas? The collective, why you? That would be the way to do this properly. Use the collective. So now we got a trade setup here with crude oil. So we got an average at 91. We have a UFO here that ends at 90, where the average is 91. It's quite narrow, okay? You could, again, if I was faster, I could be in this trade, and actually I would be probably out already for safety target. But, in cases like that, I'm late to the party here, guys. But if I was, when you see opportunities like that, and this reminds me of a comment I made for Ricky last week. If you were to see trades like that, where your UFOs are very narrow, like it was the case, like for example, that UFO that is very narrow, okay, from 8 to 10, only 3 ticks. So what you could do is to go ahead and trade the reactive time frame. Okay, wait for price to come into the UFO, and when the reactive time frames confirms, then you take the trade. Here, I'm late to the party, okay, but you saw earlier there was a UFO here that could have been used for a trade, and right here you would be already hitting safety target as a reaction to the climate, as well as to the additional on-field orders provided by the moving average, okay? So anyway, that one I'm late, so I don't have much more to comment. The only thing we'll do here is keep watching, because a few more UFOs may present themselves later on. Oh, by the way, opportunity to trail stop. So here we go. We got 79.75. So the stop now moves to 79.5. Okay, it's not a big difference, but you know what? That's it. We'll move it. 79.5. This is the new location for that stop. Cool. Very nice. So let's keep working. Gold. What do we have? Setup still valid. Yes, it is. Everything is still valid. Nothing to add to the gold trade. The gold trade is still valid, just waiting to get filled. The only thing I will add is that 3.5 minutes from now, or 3 minutes from now, we're going to have an update on the climate. And I would say that this may now invalidate the trade. If the average is recalculated to a lower value, then we may start, being a little bit in a position where we don't have that scenario, that setup, where the average is being enveloped by the UFO the way we do have now. Okay, and if that's the case, as I said earlier, using a little bit of humor, it will break our heart, okay, but we'll click on the cancel all button. Okay, now it's very bad humor, the one I use, because we traders, when we trade, we have no heart, isn't it? We have no emotions whatsoever. We are very nice people, but we don't feel anything. We just follow rules, isn't it? That's it. Okay, so that's why I was using this very bad joke, precisely to give me the opportunity to clarify the fact that, who cares if the trade is filled or not? Really, a trade is a trade. No trade has any reason to make you happier than another. A trade is a trade. 80.5. I need to move my stop to 80.25. This is the new location for my stop. Out of the UFO that was there before, and therefore I'm out of this trade, collecting the maximum profit that was possible here with the S&P. Okay, so we're out. Okay, we are out of the S&P trade. So the first portion of the trade provided us with, here we go, 81.5 to 79.5, 2 points, and the second portion of the trade provided us with 80.25 to 79, so 0.75, so 2.75 points. Let's call it 3 points. We made almost 3 points in this trade per contract, okay? Which again is not easy, it's a lot, but you keep doing that consistently and it's nice, okay? So anyway, so the gold trade, we are filled, okay? Now, the trade setup is still valid. Yes, it is. We are still in that same climate. So we just got filled. We are in the trade. We are basically, price went a little bit against us. Basically, price came back to where the entry price is. Okay, so it's all good. So we are now looking at our time stop on the upper left. This is the candle where we entered. Again, 3 candles later, if we didn't reach our safety target located at 1512.4, then we will have to exit this trade. Good news, some red is showing up on the reactive time frame. This is always a good news. It doesn't guarantee anything, especially given the fact that some green form here. Okay, so that's actually not a good news. But you know, what it is what it is. We're in the trade. It was meeting our rules, and now we are doing anything possible to manage the risk, maximize the reward, which is use the safety target, use the time stop, and be ready to trail stop the moment we surpass the safety target. Okay. What else? We just got an update on the clock, so 9:45. So therefore, we have new information on the climate radar screen. Actually, we don't. So what's the situation with the Nasdaq then? The Nasdaq, let me see. The Nasdaq 17. So 17, we got nothing. 17, we got nothing. 17, we got nothing. Okay, so we got nothing in any of those trades. So the Nasdaq is not qualified at the moment as a trade opportunity. So I will close this workspace. So I save a little bit of computer power. The S&P, it's over. Okay, so we'll also close the trade. What's going on with the gold? Okay, a little bit of hesitation right there. Okay, so we'll see what happens in the end. The S&P, very nice, okay, to apply the rules. As you can see, we may be having a change of climate, the next candle, okay, we may be, and we are out, and we managed to collect. I mean, I'm not saying that we went from bottom to top, tick for tick, okay, because that's close to a utopia. But, you know, I think that we could be satisfied with the management of this trade, where given the fact that it worked in our favor for a little bit of time only, so we collected the most we could from that movement of price. Okay, so good job. Gold doing its thing. So we are now entering second candle out of 3 using our time stop rule. So for now, nothing to be done, just wait. And crude oil, what do we have? So up climate, 56.95, no new UFO has formed yet. So we are waiting for something to happen with crude oil at this moment in time. Okay, so really the trade that is now the one that we care about is the gold trade, obviously, because this is the one where we got the money on the line. Okay, Bojan, your field, Dirk, your field, Lisa, your field. Yep, very nice. Very nice, very nice. Love it, love it. I love it, guys. I love, again, this is the key, guys, okay? The teamwork, putting the practice in place. You keep doing that, and that's how you pick up skill. Okay, so anyway, we still got like 2 more minutes to see what's going to happen to the time stop with gold. I mean, realistically, it's not moving towards our target as fast as I would like. So we just entered third candle, so we got 2 minutes left. Okay, so at 9:50 exactly, it would be the time to close this trade if we have not reached our safety target. Hopefully we'll get there before, or at least we are somewhere in the golden area with some profit, so we can click the close button and leave this trade for some profit. Okay, so now we are having a little bit of a push. 2 more ticks would bring us to the safety target. So let's see if that's going to happen. And if doesn't, we went 1 tick away, we are 1 tick away now. So come on, 1 more tick, and we'll be out of this trade. Come on, gold, just a little more push, a little more, and we'll be out. And if not, again, in a minute or so, we'll have to close this trade for whatever profit. Okay, and if gold was to come back to the blue territory instead of golden, then we would want to attempt to leave this trade for break even. Okay, that would be the way to do it. So we still got 50 seconds to go. Okay, and this is when the market teases you, and this is when it challenges you when it comes to your emotions, right? We went one tick away from the target, and now we are about to get back into the negative territory, and some of you may be like, I wish I had gone out. You know what? No, never wish like that, because that's the same thing as saying, I wish I'm gonna break my rules. Okay, so don't do that. If any, change the rules, and then next time you can act differently, but don't change your rules or regret things based on short-term memory of whatever you see happening now. Okay, so that is not what professional traders will do. Okay, which is very easy, by the way, to fall into that mistake unless you are being led on developing the right thinking. Okay, because you see that going up and down. Okay, here we go. It's the time stop time, so we're gonna close this trade. Okay, so we're out of the gold trade with a little bit of profit. Okay, good. Okay, so we went in and out. Okay, and now what else do we have? So we're gonna wait until the clock ticks. Okay, because of course, and this, by the way, doesn't happen often, but it's happening now, so it's giving me a good opportunity. The average is 13, and we do have a UFO at 13. So some of you may be thinking, what about we plan a new trade and we re-enter now? Okay. Well, no, because the fact that you didn't reach your safety target in time tells you that the climate may not be as powerful as needed any longer. Okay, and therefore, re-entering, even though it does meet the rules, well, re-entering, it's basically putting yourself in a how do I put it? Don't get me wrong with this word. Okay, it's kind of putting yourself in a silly position, where earlier you were able to enter at this price, okay, and now you're willing to enter at this worst price. When you sell, you want to sell high, and now you would be able to sell low, not high, just to assume more risk than before. Well, then it would have been better not to close the trade with the time stop. You get my point? Okay, so the way to address this type of situation is then wait for the next candle in the common time frame, for the climate to define or redefine itself, and then replan trades from scratch like the first trade was never taken. Okay, but don't retake the trade immediately, because then again you would put yourself in that, again, not sure is the right word to use, but kind of silly situation or silly position where it would have been better not to exit the trade. Okay. And also the climate is 6 candle now out of the 4. I mean, you are still okay to enter this trade now, Bojan. Good point. But you are still okay to be in this trade. The only thing is that you should be with half of the size, is the only thing, right? So this candle, you are still allowed to do it. Now the next candle, not anymore. Okay. So again, a little late in the climate, but again, using black or white type of rules, that would still be okay. Okay. That candle is still okay. The problem is, the fact that time stop combined with the fact that you will re-enter at a worse price, that's what I meant when I used the term silly situation. Okay, and I know you got me, and you are just adding on top of it, which makes a lot of sense. Okay, but again, just making sure everybody is on board with the right mindset. So anyway, so crude oil, do we have a green UFO form? No, nothing formed. What else do we have? Nasdaq flashing again. Okay, so let's go ahead and you open the Nasdaq workspace one more time and see if we have a trade. And by the way, today we are planning very few Forex trades. So after looking at the Nasdaq, I'll go ahead and check Forex. I think that Dirk, you are suggesting to look at the beast, the pound yen. I mean, no one calls the pound yen the beast anymore, I guess, but that's how we used to call it in 2008. We used to move 400 pips a day, easy, sometimes 600 pips in one day. I think the most it was 700 plus pips in one day. That was amazing. I mean, that was every day. That's the thing. What was amazing is that was every day. That's why we call it the beast. Okay. So anyway, Nasdaq, 7 candles out of 9, 82.18 is the average. No UFO at that price. Okay. So we don't have UFOs at that price. So even though potentially it could be a trade, it is not. Okay, it is not. Good. So Forex. So where is the beast? Right there. So the beast is here. Confirm climate. it is sensible. 2 candles out of 11. Sounds good to me. So let's go ahead and check the beast in the 4-hour time frame. Miners, GBP, JPY. Here we go. That's the beast. Well, not that scary recently, isn't it? It's been sideways. But anyway, so we got a confirmed climate, okay? 3 candles out of 6. Different stats, because of course the data feed that I'm using at this moment in time is the one provided by FXCM. If you use the one with Oanda, if you use any other data feed, you would have slightly different results, such as the result provided by TradeStation, which is 2 candles instead of 3. Okay, but it's okay. We're good. So what else? Average 140.01. So 140.01, we got nothing here. Okay, but on the right, we do have 140.01. Yes. So we got 0198. So we're talking about a 3 pip range. Okay. If you think about the fact that when we add room for the stop, we had 5 and stuff, you know, really that zone, it's just too narrow for us to execute unless you were going to use reactive time frames and take this trade manually. Okay, so I'll try to find a trade where you don't have to execute manually and we can use some sort of a bracket order. Even though you are right here, this is certainly a valid setup. Okay, but again, it would be recommended to monitor this trade manually instead of just place a bracket order here, given how narrow that zone is, which is always a little bit of an issue when trading non-centralized products such as Forex. So anyway, let's go for the next one then. So the next one, confirm here, 6 out of 6 is the pound Swiss franc, 6 out of 6. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at pound Swiss franc. Okay, we got a down climate. Okay, 127.60. 127.60. We got nothing there. But we got 61 here. But it only goes until 63. And at 63, we still got nothing. So yeah, no, we don't have the proper setup with UFOs overlapping properly the moving average. We don't have it. Okay, so therefore, we are going to have to ignore that one. What else do we have? The Euro Yen. Euro Yen, sensible long, 6 out of 8. So let's check the Euro Yen. So the Euro Yen has an average of 120.87, where we do have a UFO at 83. And you know what? I'm going to say it's fine. Okay, I'm going to say it's fine. I'm going to say it's fine because the current value for the euro yen is 121. So if it goes down from 121 to, you know, that UFO at 183, that's going to bring the average down by a little bit. And therefore, instead of 87, it may be 84, 83, 85, something like that. And I'm going to say that's good enough. Okay, so the setup is fine. Now, I have a concern. So if I take 79 and I subtract 5, it becomes 74, which is lining up with 73.3. So then I would need to group that UFO together with that UFO and treat it as one. Okay, and earlier why you were asking this question. Okay, so this is what you will want to do. But then I got no, I don't have a problem. I thought I would have a problem, but I don't. So if you take 67 and you subtract 5 for the stop, 67 minus 2 becomes 62, which is on the white space right above 61. Okay, but 62 is above 61. So then it would be valid. So my friends, we do have a valid setup here with the Euro Yen. So step 2 of the methodology would be to look at the target. So I am activating AutoUFOs, looking for a target, which, as you can see, happens to be located at 121.18. Okay, so Euro, Japanese Yen, 121.18. That would be the target. It's not like the target is too far, so I'm still undecided or unsure if this trade will be valid or not. We'll know in just a second. Let's write it down. So this is the best way to know if the trade will end up valid or not. So final target from top to bottom. Final target. We just said 121.18. Okay, that's gonna be safety target. That one I cannot calculate yet, so I'll leave space for this for later. Long entry. Okay, that's gonna be 120.84. But remember, because it's a buy order, we add 2, so it's gonna be 86. And then the stop loss would be located below 120.67. Remember, we subtract 5, so it's gonna be 62. So from 62 to 86, okay, what we have is 24 pips. So if I add 24 to the 120.86, right, and I add 24, that's gonna make this to be 121.10. Okay, so technically the trade is valid because you have your entry, your stop, your safety target is happening prior to reaching the final target, which is 8 pips above 10. Now, having said that the trade is valid, and it is, I'm gonna say, I'm sure you'll be able to find better trades where the target is further up, and therefore, once you have removed the risk of the trade, once you reach 110, you can now go ahead and enjoy a much better profit with a further target. I mean, I'm not gonna make up the target because that's not what traders we do, but certainly by looking at the list and looking at other currencies or using the radar screen, you may end up finding better opportunities. And therefore, I will not call, even though it is, I will not call this trade to be a valid trade. Okay, I would just suggest to find another one. Okay. Okay, so what else? The Beast, we look at it. The Aussie Yen, that one is hopeful. Yeah, so I guess we went to the end of the list. Okay, so what I'm going to do, the last thing I'm going to do, just in case we were to find another opportunity, is look at crude oil one more time. So 57.01, nothing there. So no crude oil. Gold, what do we have? Climate is still down. Okay, the climate is still down. In the end, it started moving. Actually, it reached safety target and beyond. So interesting. But anyway, we are out of this trade. You can certainly replan for it, but remember, we have now surpassed, 7 candles out of 4 we have surpassed. So, something that was not expected could actually last for longer. So we may end up having a climate of 15 dots, okay? But probability-wise, it is not in our advantage to enter this trade at this moment, okay? So therefore, we're just gonna wait for a change of climate, okay? Become sapphire color blue, and then you would go ahead and plan new trades in the opposite direction. Or if it was to go blue and then go back red, then you would replan trades to the short side, but not yet. So no trade with gold either. And the Nasdaq seems to be changing climate, which we will know in 13 minutes from now, to be precise. You will have a formal confirmation of this change of climate, if that's the case, because the Nasdaq may go back up and give you an opportunity to continue trading in the same direction. Having said that, careful, because you already got 8 candles out of 9. So statistics are actually becoming a reality, but the moment you surpass 10, now you need to go with half of the size. And if you were to reach 15, which is 15% on top of 10, then you would not be allowed, based on the rules, to take those trades any longer. The Euro contract is flashing. Let's take a look. Euro contract still hopeful, 10 candles out of 3. So yeah, we are not going there. Anyway, so my friends, the session would be concluded based on what we have in front of us. I'll take a look at your last questions here, and we'll close the session. Why you, Jose? I wonder if we conclude the trend by using the climate, so it doesn't need to draw a trend line like what common price action does. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Yes. I mean, the climate is looking at 3 things. It's looking at trend, but it's also looking at statistics related to how do you call it? I'm just missing a word in English language. Just give me 1 second. It's gonna come to me. Sustainability. Here we go. So we are also looking at sustainability, and we are also looking at impulse versus correction. So with the microclimate, you're looking at multiple ways to assess market direction. In a simplistic form, you can call it trend, but really market climate is doing more than that. And therefore you can certainly, you can either stop doing what you do when it comes to your trend analysis and just use market AutoClimate, or just do what you do when it comes to your trend analysis methodology you may have, and overlay on top of it AutoClimate and use AutoClimate as a confirmation. So let's say you're looking at classical way to look at trends could be to look at pivot highs and pivot lows, and look at higher lows and higher highs, or lower lows and lower highs, all those things, right? So let's say you do something like that. Well, if you do something like that, and then you conclude the trend is up, and then you turn on AutoClimate, and then AutoClimate tells you it's up, then you have a nice mechanical confirmation. Okay, so you don't need to change whatever you do, but you can certainly overlay AutoClimate on top of it, or you can just change what you do and just use AutoClimate. In the end, this is going to be a trader's flavor, because it's very important for us as traders to have our confidence level in the right place. And let's say you are a trader who has been using some technique to measure trend for 2 years, and you are very comfortable with that, so you don't want to change it, because then that would impact your confidence. Okay, so again, you keep that in mind. Hopefully I did answer your question. Franz, nice to see you. So what is the minimum or ideal final target in Forex? Look, there is no minimum or maximum, because we don't have control over it. Okay, it's very easy to say in a theoretical class about trading. It's very easy to say, go for trades that are minimum 3 to 1, go for trades that are minimum 5 to 1. So that, from a theoretical point of view, it's very easy to say, and it actually makes sense. But then the real world of trading is like fishing. You go in the ocean, you throw the net, and each day you will pick a different amount of fish, because you are not the one controlling the amount of fish you get. Is the ocean or the sea giving you, that benefit. Okay, and we just need to be grateful with it and take whatever we are given and be happy. Okay, and of course, what we don't want is to take that little that is not even worth it to go fishing, right? So that's why the rule that we have, okay, and when we talked about the flowchart, we talked about it, which is when you define a safety target, if the safety target was to be beyond the final target, then the trade is not valid. So the trade that we had today is a trade where the final target is actually 8 pips beyond the safety target. So the trade was valid. And if you were to take it, you are that fisherman grabbing whatever fish is given to you, so job well done. My point, and the reason why I said the trade is not valid and I'm not going to take it, my point is that there are many other currency pairs. And if you use just a little bit of patience and you look at the markets 1 hour later, I would be shocked if you don't find another trade that is better, right? So it's like you are a fisherman ready to drive your boat on the sea. You have no control of how much fish you're going to be given. But at the same time, you do have a radar that allows you to measure density of fish in the water. And that allows you to know that today, instead of driving south, it's better to drive your boat east, because there is more fish in the east. You know what I mean? So again, my point was the trade is valid, but it's borderline with not worth it, because if you just wait 1 hour, I'm sure that maybe the Aussie Swiss franc or any other currency will give you an opportunity with a further away final target. And, that would probably be a better benefit for you. Okay, so that's where, the human decision comes into play. There are certain aspects in trading where there is a human decision to be taken. Okay, and it starts from a very basic point. Like, for example, let's say last week you've been trading and you've got several losses in a row, and you got to a point of discomfort that this week it got you to not to turn on your computer, right? So who decided not to turn on the computer? Is you. It's a human decision, right? Even if you had a methodology that does 100% automated, you decided to not to turn on the computer. So there is a human interaction at points in everything we do in trading, right? Even if your methodology is fully 100% automated, in the end, you decide to turn on the computer or not to turn on the computer, right? So now I'm taking this to the extreme, right? So within the methodology, because today we all turn on the computer, isn't it? We are all trading today together. So within the methodology, you also have some freedom of action, knowing, and this comes from experience, knowing the amount of currencies available in trading, if you trade Forex, or knowing the amount of futures markets available in trading if you trade futures, or knowing the amount of options markets tradable if you trade options. So you develop some experience through practice, and then if a trade seems that could be improved just by using a little patience and look at other market symbols or wait an hour or two and replan the trade, so normally it's worth it. And there is no need to rush it, because it's not like the market will never open again. The market will be open tomorrow and next hour and next 30 minutes, and the market is always ready to be traded, isn't it? The market doesn't even care if you trade or you don't trade, if I trade or I don't trade. The market is just there. Okay, so it is our job to be as smart as possible while we stay mechanical in our action process. So very long answer, Franz, because your question is so good. First, congratulations for such a good question, because that proves that your mindset is 100% mechanical and you're looking to be rule-based 100%. What I did add as an answer is that even though I'm all about that too, we cannot negate the fact that we are human, right? And this is where you need to give yourself a little bit of flexibility in your decision-making process, just a tiny bit, okay, within reasonable parameters, which I think what I have explained is reasonable enough, and hopefully it does make sense, okay? And by the way, if it doesn't, please let me know. We can certainly, I can certainly expand on that in a more precise manner, maybe another day in a sharpening session or whatever, okay? But, that would be my 2 cents. Well, actually more than 2 cents, because I took 10 minutes to give an answer to this question. But again, it's a very, very good question, Franz. Very good question. Thanks for that. Anyway, everybody good? We're going to conclude the session here, everyone. So I will say that, as always, keep up the good work, keep up the discipline. We are getting together tomorrow again for longer term trading. Looking forward to see you there. And I will see you then. Okay, everyone? Take care. Absolutely. My pleasure, Franz. My pleasure always. Bye-bye. Take care, everyone.